I just have two questions. My first is, when I was listening to this other interview, you said you would have liked to have met former President Lyndon B. Johnson. What would you have liked to ask him?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. Well, there's so many things. One of I guess a question that a lot of people would ask is, why couldn't you just pull the plug on Vietnam? Why couldn't you just say no, as Nancy Reagan would say? And I'm sure I wouldn't get a very satisfying answer, because a lot of people asked him that question a lot, or asked about Vietnam a lot, and typically his response was lengthy and voluminous and ultimately not very satisfying.
There wasn't a direct answer.
And it wasn't a direct answer in ways, because maybe there wasn't a direct answer to be given. But I also would like to know from him, at a more personal level, his connection to the political process, to what it meant to him at a personal level, quite apart from the rhetoric and campaigning. And what did it mean? Why politics? Why was it so important to him at a personal level? Because he lived and breathed. That's all he cared about. He had no hobbies. He didn't care about anything else. Politics, 24/7. That's all the man cared about.
Well, and how did you take such a complex story and put it into film and Broadway?
Well, I worked really, really hard for a really, really long time, and I try to surround myself as much as possible with really smart, talented people who constantly ask really good questions, and that forces me to, time and time again, to reevaluate, rethink, dig deeper, get closer to the truth. I think that's the only way you achieve something.
Well, my last question pertains to the writing aspect. You and Doris Kearns Goodwin. How did that kind of literary collaboration come about?
Well, I wouldn't describe it as a collaboration, because I haven't written anything with Doris, or vice versa. Doris, I think of Doris as a friend of the court and as someone I admire tremendously. She is married, of course, to Dick Goodwin, who was a famous speechwriter for Jack Kennedy, LBJ, and Bobby Kennedy. And I met them in Boston when they came and saw the show, and loved Brian's performance, and we became friends. They invited me to come out and visit them. And had become aware of who Dick was. I had always known who Doris was, and they are just the nicest people and the smartest people, and both of them have been very intimately involved in history, and a history that interests me. So Doris has been extremely generous with her time and her resources and putting me in touch with people. And she's just been so really warm, emotional support. She's seen this play half a dozen times, I think, and that she's here tonight to honor the movie. That's Doris. And I'm just such a fan of her and of her work, which is excellent. She is herself, of course, a Pulitzer Prize winner.
Yes, it's very impressive. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.